And what does Advaya mean?
Non-dual.
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 It's rooted in Advaita Vedanta ideas.
Yeah.
So non-duality, connectedness.
Like a oneness.
And the most difficult question of all, what are you trying to do? What is it about? What are you doing? What is that?
To empower people.
Yeah, and inspire and educate, but in an environment which isn't, it's not like me and Ruby educating others. It's like we want to be educated and empowered and inspired to make the changes that we know we need to make.
Yeah.
And we want to do that in a community of people and in like an exciting, fun, sociable, like young, youthful way, rather than feeling like alone and like, you know, watching like YouTube videos as you're like falling asleep and feeling depressed about the world.
Yeah.
Just more like stuff about how we can create positive changes in our own lives and in the world around us. From like the very, very smallest, minutest thing, like maybe in a yoga practice, just moving your arm in a way that's better for your body, to like, I don't know, like stopping buying plastic bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and spreading the message. Like we were both so frustrated by our peer group and social circle, which was maybe watching a few TED Talks and
but no, that was me as well. It wasn't
feeling that they had no power,
Mm-hmm.
and feeling that the voice, their own voice, one's own voice makes no difference in the wider scheme, and so not making any real effort to live an alternative way.
Yeah.
And so many amazing people are out there writing and teaching and spreading such a positive and empowering message that we had tapped into a little bit through our yoga practice or through some other things that we were interested in, and so we just wanted to bring all of that, explore it all
So
more.
you were kind of joining the dots, weren't you? But it's as you say, there is this kind of access which is perhaps unknown. So a lot of people, really didn't know how to get to what they ultimately really benefited from.
Yeah,
so you provided that bridge in a way, didn't you?
Yeah, and a lot of things that we were experiencing, like we were very inspired by Satish Kumar and Resurgence Trust and Schumacher College and Vinton Foundation and everything that they were doing, but the people that we were mixing with had never heard of what they were doing, or it was not financially exchanged now because Resurgence are doing very much of more affordable talks and things, but previously there just felt like the access wasn't really there for a lot of people. So then we started to invite speakers and provide tickets that were much more affordable and things like this.
Great.
So because even people who got loads of money, and who were really wealthy, find it so hard to spend money on something like an environmental talk or something that's actually personally healing. Like it's only if they're gonna leave feeling like they've beaten their body to the ground or that they feel like it's money well spent kind of thing. And so it's quite it's interesting.
Hence the Bikram yoga too, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is.
And also that was another of our reasons behind it, was that the yoga scene or the health wellness can be so inward looking and so self-obsessed and rooted in almost a sense of vanity and
the
then
identity
ego, which is so ironic and then the environmental movement was the complete
burnt out
opposite.
activists not caring for themselves in any way and just
or their
running
peers.
against a brick wall.
So it's kind of bringing those two together.
Yeah, and find a spiritual activism, a healing practice for your inner and outer world.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, you must get wonderful feedback, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
From very grateful punters.
Yeah.
Because they're being introduced to all of these extraordinary talks
very...
and all these wonderful people. You're both yoga teachers, aren't you?
Yeah.
And do you both practice the same kind of yoga? Which one do you, Christabel? Which one?
We're both. I don't know. We do. I guess we both practice Vinyasa Krama, and we're now on the same 4-year yoga training. But we come from quite different backgrounds. So Ruby was practicing Ashtanga yoga before.
Ashtanga before. Okay, so
I still practice Ashtanga yoga.
Yeah,
right.
But that was me.
Yeah, my practice was that. I started practice quite young, just as most people do, trying different styles and things like that, and not really understanding what yoga was, and then finding Ashtanga yoga in my early 20s when I was studying my degrees, and then I started a strict daily practice of that, which completely changed my life from that moment. And I was just doing that, and I've been practicing Ashtanga since then, but it's not all. So that's like 6 years ago. But I've been very much more inspired by Vinyasa Krama and the more authentic teachings of Krishnamacharya, who was the original teacher of Pattabhi Joyce Iyengar, of Desikachar. Like, he's the founding father of the yoga we practice now in the West, really, Hatha yoga.
It's a really therapeutic kind of yoga. I mean, all yoga is therapeutic, but it's what I love about this course is that it's teaching, because I did 2 trainings before and they were great, but I kind of left with like a cookie cutter idea of what every body is meant to look like in a shape, and how I'm meant to apply the yoga tools to individuals, and it was quite scripted. The way I was teaching, and then so this really deep and layered training that we're doing over 4 years is teaching us about the yoga tools, and then how to apply it to the particular individuals, because there's a yoga practice for everyone anywhere in the world. You can make it however, but it's how can we get that person to heal most efficiently, and then to be the best part, because it's a healing practice for yourself is the most selfless thing you can do, so that you can be a fully functioning happy member of society, and uphold the peace or harmony,
and allow you to feel that you're very best. And physically, and then mentally, and then spiritually, in that way, in that sequence. The idea that once the physical body is balanced.
So, highlights of the last few months, the talks, which ones have you felt have gone particularly well? Which ones do you feel resonated the most with people?
I loved Satish Kumar, Molly Scott Cato, and Craig Bennett at UCL. We filled the auditorium with students. We charged £3 entry tickets, and it was so inspiring. It was so activist. There was hardly any facts. It was all about being an activist. And Satish did the most riling talk, telling everybody to vote for the Green Party, sign up to Friends of the Earth. Craig Bennett did an amazing motivating speech. Molly Scott Cato was an amazing representative of politics, which I was so nervous about.
But what I thought was cool about it was that it was you had Craig Bennett giving a kind of activist perspective, Molly Scott giving a political perspective, and then Satish giving a sort of spiritual perspective, but they were all saying the same thing. But it was just slightly different perspectives coming at it from slightly different angles, so that regardless of where the students where they were coming from, what they were studying, or what their belief system is, I feel everyone would have gotten something really strong, and they were basically saying that we've lost our sense of connection to nature and to ourselves. And it was so nice hearing Molly's got a politician just talking about that was so cool and exciting, and that's a massive reason why Advaya is called Advaya as well, and why yoga inspired us to do it, was this suddenly realizing that we're part of an intricate web of existence, and not only does that mean that we should be creating change, it means that we can create change, because by us doing one thing different we have a knock-on effect. And so even if it's really small, there's always a sense of empowerment you can have from that view.
So in this sense, three they're coming at it from 3 different angles away, but they're all kind of drinking from the same well, aren't they? So it's all becomes part of the same, part of the whole.
It just highlighted how much that perspective is as well, of connection is something that me and Ruby are really passionate about, and that is becoming more and more part of the Advaya events, is nature connection and rewilding.
But you go out a lot too, don't you? You do, not just in London. I mean, you go out to do the other things outside London.
That's really important to everything we do, and we're going to start doing that more and more and more. Because as Christabel was saying, the root of Advaya, the main motivation for a lot of what we do is this idea of reconnecting with nature, reconnecting with the self, reconnecting with the wild nature and the natural world, not even nature. and so we take people on pilgrimage, sleeping outdoors under the stars, swimming in wild waters, doing tree meditations, yoga outside, just breathing practice as well, and feeling part of the environment in which you are. And then seeing how that affects your understanding of existence, understanding of who you are and what you can do and your power within. And so we do retreats, and
Well, we're going to grow our retreats.
yeah, we're going to start doing more retreats.
Great.
Got one with Satish Kumar coming up in spring.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Good. And are some other goodies coming up for the new year? Or are you just in the planning stage?
Oh, we've got loads of events in 2018.
Yeah.
We've got one on sustaining activism.
Which is going to, that's interesting. That's with ULAX project or Eco Dharma, all about not burning out.
Got so many.
We've got we're
Finding
doing
your purpose.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Finding your purpose.
Finding your purpose. Right.
Yeah. We're continuing our collaboration with 42 Acres, doing the events at their space, with beautiful suppers, and
we're going to start working with Petersham Nurseries more and do ones in Richmond.
in Richmond Park.
We might do a new, because we did a really successful series of talks on the roots and philosophy of yoga, and we want to start looking at like different meditative traditions from around the world and do that as well.
Do you find who are your heroes? Do you have any heroes, any heroines on the eco-environmental side, or anybody? And apart from
Vandana Shiva.
Vandana Shiva, yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Vandana Shiva and Satish Kumar, you can tell that we're from like yoga Indian background.
Yeah.
I was going to say Gandhi as well. But I love his Bhagavad Gita, like interpretation and all of that. So.
Yeah.
And I mean, and all the other stuff he did.
Yeah, the many millions of people, whoever wrote it, but the many people who wrote the Bhagavad Gita, that they can be our inspiration.
Yeah, and Alistair McIntosh.
Alistair McIntosh.
Rupert Sheldrake.
Yeah.
He's not really, I guess, not a hero. Actually, he was at school. I hated Richard Dawkins so much.
Yeah.
And then at school we read Richard Dawkins, and then I was like so depressed, and everyone was like really like loved Richard Dawkins, and then we had to read Rupert Sheldrake's book, The Science Delusion, and then
you had to read it.
Yeah.
Really?
So we read them
Wow.
one after the other, and then I was like so happy, and then I fell in love with Rupert Sheldrake.
And I have more inspiration. All the amazing Native American individuals and the different tribal groups in South America and their whole and in the East, and their whole attitude towards life and existence and consciousness, and they can be an inspiration as a whole. Not any particular individual, but that whole belief system for sure.
Yeah. And there's certain books. Are there any important books that you read individually? I mean, that you thought that kind of made a big impression.
For me, Satish Kumar, No Destination, which both of them.
Yeah.
That was like the beginning of
That
everything.
kind of worked. A light bulb went off.
Yeah, everything.
For me, it's just being in the ocean.
Yeah.
More experience.
Yeah.
So.
And also, Fate and Destiny by Michael Mead.
Yes.
Really? That's my
very
favourite.
good. No, I like Michael Mead. Yeah.
Those two were really.
Yeah, I mean, he has a shamanic background too. I mean,
Does
he delves into that. Yeah. Notebook for you, Ruby?
I could pretend.
Have you read? Well, no. Have you read autobiography?
I've read them all.
Yogi? Yeah.
I've read them all. And I find them all very. They're all.
But
amazing.
it was more.
But it's more experiential, and then the books that I read afterwards verbalized and put in a very eloquent way all the things I was already feeling.
Yeah.
So I could say it was the books, but I don't think it was the
It
books.
wasn't. It was.
That's why I loved Hawaii, because like Bruce Paris books afterwards, I was like just like crying when afterwards, and like the credits came up, because I was like this kind of happy like bliss of just like I felt like I got to a point where I wasn't able to articulate like how I felt or what Advaya was, but like everything that was said in that documentary was like, not saying that like Advaya can match up to like exactly that, but like that's the general feeling and idea and like instinct behind it.
And just being in an environment, being in a forest, being in a huge beautiful lake surrounded by birds and trees, and just feeling part of that, or being surrounded by, I don't know, I just think that is so powerful as an experience if you're open to it, and you're not letting yourself be blinded by perception and preconceived ideas, or what you think, or what you want, or what you're desiring to get out of that experience. If you're just being in that very present moment, and then it's just so amazing. Life as a whole.
Great. I think it's time for it. Ian.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, is there anything else you want to say? That's about it.
Everyone needs to spend more time in nature. Everyone needs to get outside.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to do yoga.
Everyone needs to do yoga.
Everyone needs to everyone needs to breathe more than everyone needs to do yoga. Everyone needs to breathe.
Yeah.
And really fill their lungs.
Do you see that lovely sign? It was save the earth. It's the only planet with chocolate. Something, you know. Good reason to save the earth.